What's up, guys and gals? It's your host with the most Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega chapter 223 as a sumo wrestler. This, unfortunately, is the end of the fight, and I can honestly say we were sort of hyping this up to be another Seki versus Okubo thing. You know, some veterans from the original series going at it. Two fighters that never really had much of an interaction before and stuff like that. And in all honesty, this is a weak chapter. I'm not gonna lie. This is pretty much the weakest chapter possible, without just blatantly pissing off the fan base. This chapter, yeah. Okay, so what do I mean? Well, first and foremost, right out of the gate, I can apologize for this. I went back and checked. Maybe I read a different translation when it first came out. I was under the impression that it had been, since Oma's death at the end of the last series, I thought it had been 3 years. 3 years since Oma's death. Apparently it was only 2. So I don't know where I got the 3 from. Then I thought it was an additional 6 months since the funeral after the fight with Edward, right? It was only 3 months. And then it said 2 years after that, but it wasn't 2 years after the time of the funeral. It was 2 years after the Purgatory versus thing. So this all comes to say is that the 12 versus 1 record of Kyozan is a little more impressive than I first thought. I thought we were at least 5.5 to almost 6 years. Because a couple, like a month or so passes here and there sort of ideas. So I just, sort of rounded up a little bit there. I thought we were easily into 5.5 years. Apparently we're looking at more 4+. So that means 3 matches a year, right? 3 Kengan matches a year. Realistically, that's almost once a quarter, once a season, if you will, when the fall catalogs come out. So yeah, when that happens, so realistically, that's a better record than I first thought, but that's only because my timeline was sort of screwed up. That's my own mistake, I guess. So anyway, it could be the Mandela effect, me thinking that it was that way, and I read a different translation, but it was that way the whole time. I don't know. Either way, so correction there. Sumo stocks still rising, right? It looks better. It does look better. But that's the only thing that does look good in this chapter, okay? Because the fight itself ending this quickly, sort of and let's go down the list. First and foremost, DemonsBane. First time, if memory serves, once again, might be another Mandela effect going on here. If memory serves, this is the first time since the end of the last series DemonsBane has been used. Basically mentioned. He didn't even use DemonsBane in his fight against Lolong, Roland, whatever, right? That was the thing when everyone said, oh, Roland Donaire is this guy, he's the guy, and the fact that Oma 1 was plot armor, blah, blah, blah. I went, Oma fucking held back. Yeah, I didn't like Cure Copy either, but Oma never went into use the ultimate technique. He never used DemonsBane. He didn't go all out in that fight. And I was thinking, muddling around with a theory that maybe not. It's not that he wasn't using DemonsBane because, if you want to say Oma did go all out, it's because he's withholding DemonsBane until he can truly perfect it, where he can never miss it. Sort of like Wakatsuki with Blast Core. If they know it's coming, if he misses, blah, blah, blah. He's been perfecting and advancing DemonsBane to a higher degree, and that's why he hasn't used the new experimental ultimate technique of the Nico style, right? Well, all those dreams are dashed, and the ultimate technique of the Nico style has been reduced to not even being the finisher. Okay? So he's finally going to use DemonsBane again. Wakatsuki recognizes it, stuff like that. He's going to use DemonsBane. I don't think that's going to work against Raging Vigor and stuff. And you can say it's impressive that it worked to the degree it did at all against, Kyozan and stuff. They're hyping up Kyozan. Yeah, I get it. Sumo stock's on the rise. But the fact of the matter is DemonsBane is I don't know how to describe it. My best description is that this is the spirit bomb of the Kengan series. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is about as effective as a spirit bomb it normally is. The Genki Dama is basically, you know, it's not the signature move. You know, Oma uses the redirection kata and an Iron Breaker and stuff as his signature moves, but DemonsBane is like his last resort. I'm going to decimate this guy. This is an all or nothing. If this hits, it's taking them out, right? It barely, by the looks of it, yeah, Kyozan took a hit, but it looked like it did barely anything. He's like, oh, he got a little bloody on the temple. Turn around, I'm going after Oma. DemonsBane, pretty much, which, once again, is supposed to also take in and redirect the power. So, basically, the idea here is that DemonsBane should have taken that Raging Vigor that Oma shouldn't have survived, that Raging Vigor attack, and Kyozan should have felt that mixed with a bunch of shit. That should have put him flat on his ass, or at least just straight up knocked him out. That should have been the end of the fight. If we're going to end this chapter, this fight anyways, end it with DemonsBane actually working. And Oma going, ah man, I still took some damage. I'm still green when it comes to DemonsBane. You know, and he's been practicing with it, and this was his first opportunity to use it. You could have utilized this chapter so well around the idea of Oma finally using DemonsBane since the Annihilation Tournament in an actual match, and after practicing with it and still saying, yeah, this was a great test for, you know, for a super, like, weight class opponent and stuff like that, and I still need, yeah, it still took him out, but I still took some damage, blah, 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 I still need to work on this technique, blah, blah, blah. You could have ended it with that, but no. Kyozan basically took no damage from this by the looks of it, and how does this fight end? With a chokehold and headbutts. Not even the Nico style. He uses the ultimate Genki Dama, the super technique, the Nico style's secret ultimate technique. Barely does anything, and he ends it like Cosmo would. No named attack. Yeah, no, I'm not here for that. I wasn't here for that. I wasn't a fan. I knew Oma was going to win. Everyone knew Oma was going to win. In fact, I would have been more happy that Kyozan, you know, outside of this chapter would have been better had Kyozan actually won and we had chastised Oma for it in the next chapter or something like that, and he basically said, yeah, like Waka goes up to him like, Oma, what were you thinking, taking him head on, blah, blah, blah. He goes, yeah, I know, but I was I was testing something out, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like, Oma, and testing something out, question mark. That would have been a better statement, that Oma was using this as an opportunity for an experimental training more than anything, and you actually give Kyozan the W, would have been better than what we got here. Because DemonsBane doesn't do shit. The ultimate technique in the Nico style, but a couple of headbutts and choke him out with a naked chokehold. That he can't even fully utilize because Oma's so much smaller than Kyozan, he can't wrap his legs effectively around Fat Boy here. Yeah, no, the fact that the fight ended this chapter, that DemonsBane now just became a joke after not being in the entirety of over 200 chapters, over 200 chapters of Omega since we've seen DemonsBane, and this is what we get out of it. This is what happens. It's just, that was such a kick in the balls. That was such a disappointment. Yeah, I think there was another point. There was something else I really didn't like about this chapter, but yeah, like once again, and like the fight was too short. You should have had Kyozan actually win it, and then Oma explain that he was testing out a new way of utilizing DemonsBane, or he's experimenting with the Nico style to take it further or something like that, and this was a good test moment or blah 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 or something like that. Maybe that's too analytical for Oma, but I don't think so. Oma would absolutely, if Oma was going to try to perfect new techniques after watching Faye use or Fi, however you say his name, using all these versions of the Nico style that Agito and him didn't know, moves he didn't know, and he's like, there's different directions I could take it. Not to the extent that Tiger Nico goes, but maybe he's like, the Nico style's still not finished. I can still utilize and add and blah blah blah. Maybe, you know, Oma, of all people, he wouldn't do this in practice. Sure, he would practice, but there'd be no better way than to literally spar with someone on the line, you know, like with Ryan, which he did for 2 years. And he would absolutely use a Kengan match to test something out. That is just how Oma is built. So, yeah. Now, I wasn't a fan. The fight started off promising. Should have been another Okubo versus Seki. We should have gotten at least 2 more chapters of this, including this one. Like, 1 more chapter, and then the fight ends next chapter. You know, and a disappointing finish. It was all. I'm not really unhappy that Oma won, but if Oma was going to win like this, the fact that Oma won like this, that pisses me off. He shouldn't have used DemonsBane if it was going to be this disappointing. I've been hyped up to see DemonsBane perfected and utilized by a healthy Oma. For it to do shit just bothered the hell out of me. Just really did. Just took the wind right out of my sails for this chapter. So I don't like this chapter. The art was meh at best. It was too short. Winning by no-name attacks. You know, it's not, no. No, this should have been a lot better. This should have been a lot better. And I feel bad for Kyozan fans. Not that Oma won, because Oma still winning is fine. Oma winning in this way sucks. It really does. You know, because the sumo stocks be rising. Kyozan cool. Seki even brought up, like, he's a fighter I wouldn't want to fight, you know, again, because, I mean, he's just, have you seen this guy? He's a beast and stuff. They hyped this dude up. The fight ends way too soon, you know, and all because, once again, and then we do this sort of idea, the same reason Adam Dudley lost against Ryuki. We do this whole thing that, yeah, I mean, I'll not lose my dignity out again. It would have been better. These lines always worked in Asura because characters didn't lose these fights when they were like, I'm sticking to my guns. Sumo wrestlers, like, just fall on your back. Are you kidding me? Sumo wrestlers do not fall. It's like, yeah, that's great if he then still got out of the hold against Oma. If he still managed to get out of the hold against Oma. The fact that it's not as impressive this short a fight if he's like, oh, he still got choked up, but he stood standing. Like, this isn't some awesome, you know, Adam punching Zeus and long after he's dead and still putting Zeus, a god of thunder, flat on his ass. You know, in death. Blinded and in death, he still stood standing. Like, they're going for that, and it's not happening. It's not working. So, yeah, no, very disappointed. Didn't like the chapter. What did you guys think? Maybe I'm being too harsh, but let me know down in the comment section down below. We'll see you guys back here next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully, now that the bad fight's over, maybe we'll get a good fight with Hagito. I don't know. Anyways, see you guys back here next time. Have a good one. I think it's Roland. I think it's Agito versus Roland. So, peace out.